Is Janet from another planet? 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 Is Janet from another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, I hate to say it, but I was going to do a show and interview Ruben and let him talk about his weight loss, his health, and how he's been healing himself, all those different things. But he hasn't showed up yet. I don't know what's going on. I had all my questions ready and everything, and I got dressed and ready to go. I've sent him a couple messages, and I haven't heard from him, but I hope he's okay. So I guess I'll just play a few videos and stuff and wait and see if he shows up. And if he doesn't, I guess I won't have that much of a show, will I? But I'm really sorry. I mean, you can't help it if you, don't, if your guest is not around when your whole show is planning on being about it. But I did find this video, and I've been wanting to play it for a while, but it won't let you play it like for an intro or anything like that. You have to pull it up and play it itself because it's too long. But I really love it, and it's got a good story. And if you really look and listen to what he's saying from 1965, he's definitely, they know what they're doing. So here we go.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. The So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, that's really scary if you think about it, because when he made this, it's before most of us were born, you know, and it's all happening. You know, you got parades with kids standing there eating their candy and ice cream with naked men and women patrolling down the road. It's really sad. It's really sad, the whole thing. But, I mean, I don't really know what to do. Since Ruben hasn't responded, I planned on my whole show being about this interview, and I haven't heard from him. So I really don't have anything else. It's sad, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. I'm all dressed and ready to go, and was ready to ask a bunch of good questions about Ruben, because I've known him. You know, he's been my friend for over 5 years, and he's a wonderful person, and I really do like him. He's a good person. He's been through a lot of health problems, and you know, his wife passed away, and you know, he's just been through a lot, and I really wanted to interview him because he's got some really interesting things to talk about, things that he's done with his life, things he's doing right now in his life, him losing weight and taking care of himself because he didn't like what the doctors were doing. It wasn't, you know, good enough. It wasn't working, but well, I won't be able to do it today, I don't think. I don't know how long I want to wait around, you know, for him. But thank you, everyone who did show up. Well, I've got this on Rumble, and then I have it on X, and then I have it on YouTube. And I can't do anything about it. It really stinks. That's the one thing when you are doing it yourself, you're the producer, you're the interviewer, you're the one that pulls up all the articles, you're the one that does the videos, you're the one that, you do all of it. And he was sending me all kinds of messages and stuff last couple of days so that we could make sure that, ask the right questions, and he'd share pictures of his family and things like that. But I guess I'll have to do it some other time. Unless there's something you guys want me to talk about. I mean, because tomorrow night I'll be prepared to talk about all the stuff that's going on in politics. But boy, my allergies have been terrible. My eyes are swollen. I haven't been sleeping very good because of my sinuses, and I think I'm getting an ear infection. I got all kinds of crap going on. Half my chickens are gone. Something's getting them. I'm pretty sure it's that coyote that took a bunch of them a couple weeks ago. But, if I'm not out there every time it happens, there's nothing I can do about it. But, well, I guess, I guess I'll have to shut it down because I really don't have anything else. I wasn't planning on, doing a show. I mean, I could pull up one of my other shows that I used to have. I could do that, but it sucks. Let's hope he's okay. Because the last time he missed the show like this, he ended up going to the emergency room. So, hope that's not the case. And I also sent him a text on my phone to see, hey, are you going to join me or not? Basically. Oh, darn it. The message didn't go through. Let me try to send it again. My internet is terrible. And I have to have internet because I have to have a cell phone booster out in the boonies where I live. So really, there, it went through finally. So maybe I'll hear something from him. But yeah, it's pretty shitty, some of the things that are going on. But yeah, I'm okay. I take my allergy medicine, but yesterday I got my shots because I get one in each arm every 2 weeks. It was every week for like a couple years. Just so I could live in Arkansas, I have to get all these shots because I'm allergic to so much here. I'm a perfect candidate to either live way somewhere where it's cold, where there's hardly anything, or in the desert, where there's hardly any, cedar. I'm very, very allergic to all cedars, all pines, most of the grass. Like right now, the ragweed is really, really bad. If we could just get the ground to freeze up for a little bit. But yeah. Oh, you lost your best layers last year because of the dog. Yeah. Was 2 summers ago. I had went to my dad's and I was gone for 2 days, and I have an automatic door and I got, big cans of food and all that stuff. So I wasn't that worried about it. And when I came back, I noticed I had feathers around and stuff like that. Kind of find out someone had dumped. It was about a 6 to 7 month old dog that, someone had gotten. It was a solid white, like German Shepherd mix. Beautiful. Blue eyes. Someone had dumped her out here, and she made her home on my porch. She chewed on my pillows and my furniture that I had on my porch and killed a bunch of my chickens. So I chained her up and then, made flyers trying to find out who dumped her, because another dog was dumped down the road a little bit, another type of dog. So it was 2 Christmas puppies because, someone had got puppies for their kids or whatever, and they didn't want to clean up the poop and take care of the pee or whatever the problem. It was chewing stuff up or whatever. So they just take it out somewhere and dump it out and let it be someone else's problem, or it gets hit by a car or just dies of starvation or whatever, because it's pretty sickening. I think people like that should be put in jail. I never did find out who it was, but I ended up getting her spayed, which she cost me over like $1,500 because I bought her a dog house. I bought her one of those runs that go back and forth just so that, she wouldn't kill all my chickens. And, everybody kept saying, "Oh, it's going to cost 22 cents to get rid of it," to go shoot her in the head. I didn't leave her. I didn't abandon her. And I just think it's terrible. And then finally, one of my friends said that, well, she got loose because she had a collar on, but I didn't get shots for her or anything. I got her a December shot. I did everything with the rabies because I said whoever's going to get her, they can take care of that. And then I got her spayed so she couldn't have any puppies because whoever got her might dump her. Like, I don't know. It's just terrible. But somebody found her running down the road, and they had posted it on Facebook, and they had some other dogs. So she was playing with them, with their dogs. So I think they said they were going to keep her. But as soon as they took her to the vet, if it was the same vet as mine, because they lived down the road from me, they probably would have said, well, she's been spayed, blah, 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 blah. So, somebody, tried to, keep her from being an abandoned dog. But I've seen people abandon kittens. I mean, all kinds of animals. It's just sickening. People should get arrested for that. I wish they would. And why get a pet? Why buy your kid a live puppy that you do not want to take care of or feed or pay for vet bills and all that? Get him a fish. Get him a gerbil, something like that. But for God's sake, don't get him a snake or a rat that's going to get loose and make more rats all over your house. But I don't know. It's just pitiful. But, well, I guess I can say thank you, everybody. I don't know what to do, but it seems like I noticed that I had 2 shows on my page, and I was wondering why there's 2 on there. But one of them is for your cell phone, and one is for a computer or PC. So I just thought that was very interesting. And it says both of them are live, but who knows if it's working or not? Since I don't have, a way to find out if both of them are working. But because I guess one of them's for a phone, one is for computer, and they're hooked together or something. I don't know. I'm still learning how to do the software and stuff. But it doesn't look like Ruben's going to be able to join me. And I texted him, and he hasn't replied. I just hope he's not in the hospital again. He hasn't been out but a week and a half, something like that. But I want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with me for just a little bit. I wish I had something else I could show. I mean, I just really don't. I have most of the videos I have are real short, for outros and stuff. But I do have one I can share, I guess. I'll do this one. It was a good one I found from, I just thought it was funny. I want to play it for you. So here we go.
Shit.
Morning, Dad.
You ever been that drunk that you didn't even know you were in your own house? I just think it's hilarious. But I found some really good stuff like that. That to use. Like the other day, I closed my show. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll go ahead and play this video. This was another video that I like to make these types of videos for my outros to try to get people to actually watch them. But this one was really funny, and it's real. It really real. If so, when you watch this, you can go in your kitchen and see if you have any of these butter cookies, and see where yours are coming from. Here we go.
Okay, so I came to Walmart today just to see if this was real. See this? Do you see this big box of like cookie things? These? And it says product of India. Product of India right there. I don't think you're ready for this. I don't think you're ready for this.
Puedes ir por las tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras.
Okay, so I came to...
So many people love those things. I never really liked them because I don't like the texture of them. They're too hard and stuff. I like butter cookies, and I like peanut butter cookies. Trying to think of some others. I don't really like chocolate chip cookies very much because I don't really like chocolate. It kind of leaves a bad aftertaste in my mouth. Especially if it's cheaper chocolate, like, chocolate chips and things like that. So it was just funny when I saw that. I was like, oh, well, I know I don't eat those. So, but the thing is, honestly, I've seen a couple of horrible videos. I saw one today. I was going to talk about tomorrow night on the shit show about some guy who's saying he used to live in Minnesota and that he worked at some food factory. And he said it's a prominent food factory, very well known. He didn't say the name of it, but he said that they started importing all these Somalians so that they could work, because you can get 3 workers for the same price you would pay for one, because they were willing to work for pennies, especially since the state was being subsidized by the federal government to house these people, because they were refugees, I guess, had refugee status with all this criminal shit that's coming out right now about it. But they were able to pay them, pennies on the dollar, and their home and food and electricity and everything was paid for by the government, the rest of our other states, taxpayers, right? Subsidizing the state to house these people and stuff. And he said that since they were from Somalia, they would just, if they were in the middle of working, they would just stop and pull their pants down and poop or pee. And then they would wash their genitals in the sinks and stuff like that. And that they put signs up, but they kept doing it, but nobody did anything to stop them. And I'm thinking, they're doing all this. There's no health inspector, or if there is one, he's not telling anyone, because they're shipping out all that food. Whatever's processed in that factory, and sending it to people, and people are buying it, not knowing. And that was one of the things you saw. What you just saw on that cookie video, right? Well, during COVID, I never did get the COVID vaccine. One thing is because, just like I said, I have allergies really bad. I'm allergic to so many dumb things that other people wouldn't be allergic to. I can't take ibuprofen, so I pray that I never get arthritis. Because I'll have swelling and, all those things, and I can't take anything for that. I have to take special things. I take all kinds of vitamins and things like that to try to help with a lot of my problems, because, I don't have anything else to do. I can't even take gluten. Can't eat bread, most bread or anything unless it's gluten-free and it's like cardboard or whatever. Not because I have celiac, because I don't have that. I just get really bad itchy rashes, like on the back of my neck and on my elbows, things like that. And it just makes me miserable. And then I have swelling that goes along with that. It's like you see in my eye, it's all puffy, my eyes are all puffy. I've been putting those little packs on them and everything for days, and using eye drops, and I'm just miserable. But you know, all I can do is just take medicine and stuff and try, you know, and get up and still do stuff. You know, I got to do laundry, take care of my chickens, whatever else, still, whether I feel good or not. But, you know, all I can do is so much. But it's scary thinking about, you know, where some of this stuff comes from. You know, we're needing meds, or let's say masks, or those sticks that they were sticking at people's noses to test you for COVID. Well, I had a video sent to me by a friend of mine that was from Florida, and they are in, you know, they're independent journalists or whatever. And I got a lot of friends that do that. And they sent me this video, and it was a family sitting on a dirt floor, bunches of little kids, and they had those long sticks in this one little container, a bowl, whatever. And then they had those little plastic bags that had the little seal on it, right? And they were opening the little bag, no gloves, no masks, on a dirt floor, and they didn't even have shoes on. And they were taking the thing out of the bowl and sticking it in the deal and sealing it, and then putting it in a box. And I was like, and people are sticking those up their nose. And I watched tons and tons of newscasters showing videos, and they would pull that out and it's bloody. You know, the kids are screaming while they were testing them. They were taking these dirty things that came from India and wherever else, and they were sticking those testers up people's noses, and some of them were bleeding, which because of the membrane is so thin between your sinus cavity and your brain. And who knows what was going through? How many people got sick from that? You know, how many people got sick, or was the test even real? So one time I was nauseated really bad for a couple of days. I know I'll tell you what happened and what I found out what it was. But I was just nauseated. I didn't have a fever. I wasn't, I had no other symptoms. I was just nauseous. That's it. So I finally went to the doctor after 4 days of laying in bed, and they wanted to test me for COVID. And I said, okay, but you're not sticking that up my nose. Not that no one's going to get near me with any of those things. You have to take my blood. So I watched the two nurses come in, open everything, and take my blood. And we waited. And the whole time they had me on a Finagrin drip, to help me with the nausea. So I was already starting to feel better. And come back, it was negative. I didn't have COVID. And I said, well, I told you I didn't have COVID. I didn't even have a fever. So if you don't have a fever and you're not coughing or anything, I had no symptoms besides being nauseous. And I don't know if anybody was nauseous when they had COVID. I don't know. But I went home and I started feeling a lot better, just getting that. And then I was able to drink water and I was able to start eating again. So I was fine. But I was like, what happened to me? Why did I get sick? Come to find out, 2 weeks earlier, I noticed a bunch of ants at my back door, and I have French doors, that open like that, right? And I had ants, and they were coming in, going along the wall into the kitchen, up the side of the cabinet, and, trying to find food or whatever for some reason. But so I had gotten a little can of ant spray, and I sprayed along the wall, and I sprayed to the door and all that stuff. And then, you put the can away and stuff, and you forget about it. Well, a couple weeks later, I was doing the Swiffer, and I went, oh, man, look at all these dead ants. So what I do, I go get Clorox wipe, and I wipe it with my bare hands. And within a couple hours, I started getting nauseated, like, oh, I'm getting sick to my stomach, like I ate something bad or whatever. I didn't know what it was for sure, taking Pepto and stuff. But next thing you know, I'm laying in bed, and it's 3 days go by because I'm just laying there moaning. And every time I tried to move or walk, I felt like I was going to throw up. But I had dry heaves because I hadn't eaten anything. And that's the only thing I could think of is that I had wiped up that bug spray with my hand like a dummy and poisoned myself. But because I got the IV and everything that flushed my system and everything, I ended up being okay. But so don't ever do that, especially if you have allergies, but you shouldn't do it anyways. And people don't realize who knows what's in that? I mean, there's tons of bad stuff in these things. And I cleaned it all up, and I haven't had any more ants that I've noticed. But I got to find other ways, traps. I got some traps and put them out, things like that. But stuff where you touch it to your skin, because your skin is another organ. It's one of the organs of your body, protects you from germs, things like that. It helps you regulate your body temperature. It does a lot of things. Your skin does. And because I wiped up poisons with it, it got absorbed into my skin, and it was probably affecting my kidneys and my liver. Who knows what it was doing? But it made me so sick to my stomach, and my body was trying to get rid of it, but it wasn't in my stomach. It had been absorbed into my skin, into my body. So you just got to be real careful. Make sure your kids don't get into anything like that, because I'm lucky because I was very healthy. I eat right, and I take good care of myself, and I'm very healthy because I have perfect health. Besides getting allergy shots because I'm allergic to stuff, but besides that, I mean, I don't have like diabetes. I don't have glaucoma. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have lupus. There's so many things that other people have that I'm lucky enough to have any of those things. But it doesn't mean you can't get sick, and it doesn't mean that you can't poison yourself or something because you're not really paying attention to what you're doing around your house, basically, with things that you think should be safe. That it would have a skull and crossbones. See, that's when you grow up. You see stuff, and your mom says, "Don't eat that," or "Don't touch that," because you burn yourself, or it's poison. We grew up through that. But I remember years ago when I was a kid, and it was my older sister and I. We came home from school, and there was a bag of cookies sitting on the top of the garbage, in the kitchen. And my sister said, "How did these cookies get in the trash?" And I was like, "I don't know." And the trash can was like next to the refrigerator. So she thought that somebody bumped into the refrigerator or slammed the door too hard. The cookies fell off into the trash. So she picked them up and put them on the counter. And then my other sisters came home, and they were all hungry. So they all started eating cookies. I didn't like them because they were chocolate chips. So I didn't need any of those. I think I ate a piece of fruit or something. But my mom came home from work, and she's like, "Where'd you get those cookies?" And then Kathy said, "Oh, I took them out of the trash because I figured they fell in there." And she would say, "Don't eat those cookies. Get some milk." And she started getting milk and giving it to everybody except for me because I didn't need any of them. And Kathy's like, "What happened? What do you mean?" She said, "I sprayed the house this morning when I was at work. And when I came home for lunch, I noticed that bag of cookies was open and sitting on the counter. And she thought maybe my dad did that. So she had to throw them away because they were sprayed with bug spray." And she was like, "How do you guys feel?" Because, she figured it was a couple hours that they ate the cookies. And they all said, "I feel fine." And she said, "No wonder that spray never kills anything." So they were fine. But, we just got to try to be super careful, especially with, chemicals. We don't know what's in this stuff. And the scary thing is we got countries that send people over here to kill us, from these other countries that hate us because we're Christians, or because we're conservative, or because we have freedom, or women can drive and women have rights over here. And they come from a country where women are nothing but, they're level lower than a goat. Because the goats are treated better than the women, most of them. Well, some of them. Well, shouldn't have said that. But they're making these chemicals. They're making our pharmaceuticals. They're making our masks and our gloves and, surgical stuff. And all they got to do is poison some of this stuff and send it over here. And a big batch goes here and a batch goes over there. I mean, it scares me. I don't like it. That's why I think we should be self-sustainable. We should make everything we need ourselves. We shouldn't be getting it from anyone else. 100%, because everyone hates us because they're jealous. They're jealous of America. And, I just think that we've got to become self-efficient, make our own gas, make all of our own medicine here, for diabetes, for high blood pressure, any of that stuff, anything that your kids or you might need, we should make it ourselves. I don't even really trust Mexico to make stuff anymore because the drug cartels, there's just so much bad stuff out there that we have got to start doing things for ourselves. That's one reason why I started raising chickens myself, because I wanted my own fresh eggs. I know what they're eating. And one thing that was really interesting is it was a couple of years back, a bunch of people were saying that the eggs process or whatever, we were low on eggs in our country. And it was because a lot of chickens just stopped laying for 3 months. My chickens never stopped laying, but my chickens go out every day and they get to eat grass and they get to eat bugs. And plus I, buy scratch for them and I give them leftovers, leftover bread or, whatever was from the leftover pizza, whatever it is that we have. And I throw it out there and the chickens just love it, they'd come running and eat it. But if you think about it, everybody's all wanting to be skinny and what products you use in your hair and on your skin and everything. But we don't think about where the products come from. What's in the stuff we're putting on ourselves and eating. So I think that's one thing that you could definitely start thinking about is what you eat, where you get it. And that's another thing. I live in the boonies now. I moved from New Orleans where I could drive a block and be able to get alcohol, food, go through drive-through, everything was within, a few minutes drive away from where I lived. And it was anything you needed, and you could have pizza delivered or whatever. Where I'm at now, they don't deliver. Walmart won't even deliver because I'm so far away from everything. I have to drive 48 miles just to buy wine, beer, to a package store or whatever. And because I live in a dry area, a dry county. And where I lived in the parish I lived in, man, everywhere was wet in Louisiana. So it's just really bizarre to live this way. But when I started paying more attention to some of my friends that live in the city, that live, in Little Rock and stuff, and they were telling me they spent hundreds of dollars a week having food delivered from Uber Eats, things like that. And I'm like, why is it so expensive? Well, they go through the drive-through and buy your food, and food's pretty expensive to drive through anyways, and they get paid to deliver it to you. So you're basically paying $20 for a meal that would cost you like $8 if you went and bought it yourself. And I'm like, holy shit, that is a lot of money. I mean, you must be making a lot of money to be able to afford to spend that much money every week just to have things delivered or whatever, because wherever you work or whatever, instead of making your own sandwich or whatever and taking a lunch. I mean, I could make a salad, all kinds of stuff, and take a piece of fruit and some yogurt, whatever in your lunch, and have a healthy lunch, eat it, be satisfied knowing what's in it because you made it. And then you save that money for gas or to go to the movies. I mean, when you go to the movies, it might cost $20, but you're paying for a movie, you're paying for a seat in their business, and wonderful popcorn that's going to get greasy butter all over your fingers. But you're sitting there and enjoying it instead of paying $20 for someone to drop something off at your house. I just think just sad and scary. But yeah, the weather, I don't know what the weather is here. Let me look real quick. I see someone saying something about it being freezing outside. I started freezing everything. Oh, I thought you were talking about the weather. Well, yeah, my mother used to do that all the time, but she had 5 kids, so she was always trying to make sure that she'd make huge, giant batch of spaghetti, and then she would break it down in four batches, whatever, and then put it in the freezer so she could get it out and do that kind of stuff. Did it with meatloaf, and she did it with fried chicken, all kinds of stuff. and it's great because to me, homemade is better than anything. I mean, I have went a couple times to other people's houses and had like a pork chop made on the grill, and it tasted so good. It tasted like I could have got it at a really fancy restaurant, like Ruth's Chris. Have you ever been to a Ruth's Chris in New Orleans? Oh my God, it was so good. Their steaks were so good you could cut them like with a butter knife. That's how good they were. And I have been to a few people's homes and had a meal, a steak or a butterfly pork chop or even ribs. And to me, they tasted better than any restaurant I've been to. So I've been really lucky to go to people's homes that know how to cook. I can tell you right now, I'll never bake for you because you don't want to eat what I bake. I just have the worst luck when it comes to baking cookies or pies or cakes. I'm not very good at it. Now I can make pretty good cupcakes and I make really good beef jerky. I've done it I have my own dehydrator and I've made lots and lots of batches of beef jerky. And I have a vacuum sealer and I've mailed it to lots of my friends that I play Pathfinder with in Dungeons and Dragons games. I've made them for people like that. And it turned out pretty good. But not everybody can do it. But I definitely cannot make sweets. I have one sister that can make homemade caramel, and her husband can definitely tell that she's a good cook. So my husband would be really skinny, and I'd have to have a guy that would cook because I would clean. I mean, I'll do the dishes and mop and do all that kind of stuff, and you do the cooking. That would be good. Because and plus my food isn't very good. I just don't have that. Whatever it is, like my sister can just grab a pinch of salt, a pinch of this, and do this, that, and the other, and just throw a bunch of stuff in there, and it tastes delicious. I can do the same thing, and it's like it goes in the garbage. So not everybody has, whatever the knack or whatever that is, the pizzazz to make a meal. And a few of my friends, they say because they're Italian or Greek or whatever, that's why they just have this, whatever it is. Well, I have a little of Italian in me because my dad has relatives from Italy. So, that doesn't help me. I mean, I would like to be able to cook better, make better meals. And I've gotten a little better at some of the things. Like I make pretty good meatloaf. Trying to think of a few things, but grilled cheese sandwiches, grilled cheese, ham and cheese, some simple things. I make really good egg drop soup, but it takes many years to learn how to do a few things good, which is fine. I won't starve, but I don't really care if it's very good. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat it. So which most people should, but I guess Ruben isn't going to come. He hasn't sent me anything. I haven't got a single text message or anything from him. So I hope he's okay. I hope he's not in the hospital or something. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And I hope that one little video made you laugh because that's really funny. The hangover one about have you ever been that drunk? That's really good. But tomorrow night I'll be doing the shit show. And as far as I know, the guys that are on the panel, War Pig, Tommy, my friend, the Guinea Pig Collective guy, and Rex should be here tomorrow and hang out with me. And I've got so much good stuff to talk about. God, so much corruption now. I just want to see handcuffs being shed out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, but I can't help it. I love politics. I mean, I could sit and talk about politics all night. I'm one of those people. I think I get that from my mom because my sisters, they'd rather talk about shoes and clothes. And I like getting dressed now. I like fixing my hair. And I used to just wear it in a ponytail and wear like a flannel shirt or a t-shirt or something like that. But as I got older, I did start caring about, fixing my hair and putting a little makeup on and, trying to look nice once in a while. But You know, when I was in high school, I didn't really care about it. I liked to go hunting, and I rode in the rodeo. I do barrel racing, stuff like that. And you didn't have to look good to do that, you know. But but my sisters, but they spent hours in there, and we had one bathroom. So, you know, think about it: 5 kids in one bathroom, and they were all girls. So my dad would hardly ever be able to get in there. It was bad. My poor dad, I felt bad for him. But yeah, that's why I was a tomboy. So I'd rather spend time with my dad in the first place than my sisters. But I guess I'll say see you guys later. You guys have a great night, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night for the Friday Night Shit Show. It starts at 9:10 Central Time, and you know, I'll have stuff for that. So even if I have to do it by myself, which I know I won't, but if I did, I still have all the articles and everything. I didn't pull anything up because I was just going to share pictures that Ruben sent and let him talk and ask him questions and stuff about himself and how he's accomplished so much and stuff in his life. But well, hope he's all right. Somebody pray for him just in case. You know, it never hurts to give him a little extra boost, even if he's just forgot or he fell asleep or something like that. But you guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope you guys love my outro. It's really good. It's very informative, and I've been wanting to play it for a while, but I haven't done it. And since I already played the cookie thing, because I put that on there the other night for my outro, but the cookie thing, oh my gosh, you know, you should just show it. Everybody needs to show it to everyone about, you know, seeing the rat running across the top of the thing and they just brush it off like that. They're just still sending these cookies over here because you don't know what happens in these factories. You don't have a clue. So just investigate a little bit. And there's an app. Let me say one more thing. There's an app called Yuka, Yuka, and it's free. You download it on your phone and you scan barcodes with it on your food, you know, like your cookies, your chips, your soda, whatever it is that you have, and it tells you what's in it. It tells you all the ingredients, and it tells you like if it's toxic, like if you aspartame, you know, aspartame causes cancer in rats. So and they put it in. I know people that drink, you know, 20 or more Diet Cokes a week, and they're loaded with aspartame, especially the diet part of it. Okay, everything I eat, it's one thing I'm really sure about, is I try very hard to make sure everything I drink, my lemonade, whatever it is, I don't drink soda pop at all, has real sugar in it, cane sugar, not artificial sugar, things like that. It's not good. Now, if it's got honey in it or things like that, natural sugars like that, that's good for you too. But there's so many little things you could do to just make sure that what you're taking in is natural, you know, something that God made and it just grew out there, you know, honeysuckles or whatever it is, dandelion greens, anything. But just, you know, try to pay a little more attention on what you're putting in your body and on your body, on your skin. So you guys have a wonderful night, and I hope you guys like this outro. Talk to you later. Bye.
Have you heard about this latest video that TikTok banned because they found it to be too controversial, too filled with hate, and too offensive? Well, if you haven't seen it yet, here it is. Brace yourself.
If you think girls and women's equality matter, stand up. If girls and women's sports matter, and you want your daughters to have the same opportunity you had, stand up. If you know that it isn't fair or safe to allow males to compete in girls' sports because it's, well, obvious, stand up. Don't be cowed by people who call you a bigot. You're not a bigot. Don't let men tell us how to be good girls. Don't let others tell you you just need to be quiet. Sit down. Be nice. It's not nice to further a lie. It's not mean to believe in women's equality. We deserve our own sports, privacy, fairness, safety. We deserve a chance to compete and win. So don't be nice. Don't be careful. Be honest. Be brave. Fight for women. We've come too far to give up now. And if you agree with that, stand up and stand with us.
Crazy, right? Not what you expected. It's a sign of this insane time that we are living in, where something that is undeniably and objectively true, the biological differences between men and women and boys and girls actually exist. There is such a thing as a woman and a girl that is distinct and different from a man or a boy, is deemed ban-worthy by TikTok. We have to keep our eyes open to what is going on and continue to lift our voices and not allow them to ban us from seeing this truth and from sharing this truth. There have been a couple of court rulings that have begun to undo the Biden administration's destruction of Title IX. We have to keep building the momentum, keep sharing the truth, speaking the truth, and supporting those who do.